And we'll call this example 4. But we're going to look at how can they make these questions a little bit more difficult, and what it means when you have these wordings in a question. Sometimes they're going to ask you to find the last term. This is still pretty easy to medium difficulty. Like, if they said, what's the last term in 2x minus 3y to the 8th, which term are you trying to find? You're trying to find term 9, because the exponent of the 8 tells you there's 9 terms. So it makes it's considered a little bit more difficult because they didn't just tell you find term 9. You had to do a little tiny bit of thinking first. So this is in the list of difficulty ones that I'm going to give you, this is the easiest difficulty. Next, you could get a question that says find the middle term. Okay? This same example that I gave you. What would be the middle term? Term 3, term 4, term 5, term 6, term 7. Which one's right in the middle? Term 5. Okay? So you know that there are 9 terms. This is nice. I have 9 fingers. Well, I have more than 9 fingers, but right? Can you see that this 5th one right here is right in the middle? 4 on this side, 4 on this side, 5th one is in the middle. How can we do some math to do that even easier? So this one, for this example, would be term 5. Well, if there's 9 terms, some people use this as a strategy. If you take 9 and divide it by 2, you get 4.5. And then they round it up to 5. Okay? Do you see that you'd only have a middle term if you have an odd number? Right? If you have 4, right? We only have 4 fingers. Like, I don't know how you get mad at people because you would have no middle finger. Right? You'd be like, oh, I'm mad at you, but I don't know what to do. Because our life would be totally different. Or if you had 6 fingers. It'd be like, you'd still think they'd choose one?
Yeah.
Yeah, something would happen. Okay. So you could only have a middle term if you have an odd number of terms or an even exponent. But if you had an exponent of 100, what's the middle term? 51. Because there's 101, meaning that 50 on this side, 50 on this side, and the 1 in the middle. So some people take this number and divide it by 2 and add 1 to find the middle term. So middle term, a little bit harder than last term. Then we get to the hardest ones. And I'll do a couple of examples with these. Questions that say find the term containing or the constant term. Both of these are very similar, so I'll write them at the same time, and then we'll do an example of what these look like. Find the term containing, and what am I going to use? An x to the 9 in the expansion of, and we have 3x squared minus 2 over x to the exponent of 9. The long method to solve this is to find all 10 terms, simplify all 10, and one of them will have an x to the 9 in it, circle it, and you will get the answer right. But you're shaking your head because you don't, like I already mentioned, that's a long way to do this one. There's got to be a shortcut. There is. Okay? Now, the shortcut is to use your formula and to put down what you know. So in my formula, here's my formula again. Okay? Just looking at this, do we know n? Yes. Do we know k? No, because we don't know which term it is. Okay? Do we know a? Yes. Do we know b? Yes. So we've got problem. We don't know k. Solution, find k. So we're going to find k, because it's the problem. How do we find the k? Well, we're going to use the hint that we know that the term contains an x to the 9. So I'm going to put in everything that I know. I know that my answer is going to be something, I'm going to just put a space there, something x to the 9. That's what the term is going to equal. I don't know what number's in front. I know it has an x to the 9. I know that it has to be, according to my formula, 9 choose k, and then a is 3x squared to the 9 minus k, and the b is negative 2 over x to the k. So I plugged in everything that I knew except for the k. Now, since I don't know the numbers in front here, the only hint that I have is the x and its exponent. So the next step is a little bit weird mathematically. Since the only thing I know is the x and the exponent, why don't I just ignore everything else? Right? Because numbers in front will all get multiplied together to make a number in front, but I don't know what that number is. So if I temporarily ignore all the numbers in front, then I'm just thinking about the x to the 9. I know that it has to have an x to the 9. I can ignore the 9 choose k, because that's going to be a number, which is going to affect the number in front. I can ignore the 3, because that 3 is going to get an exponent and be a number in front. But I know that there's going to be this x squared to the 9 minus k will be x to the 18 minus 2k, because that's my exponent rule, right? You multiply exponents. And that will be in my numerator. Then in my second one, I have x's that will be in my denominator, k of them. I can ignore the minus 2. And I just look at my x's. And if I have this, well, I have an exponent law for, right, you have an exponent law for dividing. Dividing is subtract, so this will be 18 minus 2k minus another k would be 18 minus 3k. And this is almost like our exponents unit. Here we go. So, if x to the 9 equals x to this, does it make sense that 9 would have to equal 18 minus 3k? That's not. And from here, with the 3k on this side, the 9 on this side, I found out that it's going to be term 4. You have to be very careful in these questions because we're not done yet. The question said find the term. It didn't say find, if it said find which term, you could say term 4 be done. But if it says find the term, now we have to find term 4. Okay? So, how do I find term 4? Well, according to my formula sheet, term 4 will be equal to 9 choose 3, right? Because k would be 3, 1 less. 9 choose 3. Go back to see my question here. What was my a? 3x squared. 3x squared to the 9 minus 3. What was my b value? Negative 2 over x. My k is 3. Again, put 3 sets of brackets and simplify each one separately. Calculator, 9 choose 3. 84. So in this first bracket. Alright, 84. And we'll finish this up tomorrow.